So we always seem to have these matchups in the playoffs where you just get some teams that you always kind of wonder, is it a bad matchup for this team or for this team? We always kind of wonder that. We've always wondered that. Is it a bad pairing? Like whenever Boston played Montreal, it was Boston always would lose to Montreal. It's still kind of that way. Minnesota against, teams like Chicago always seem to be a bad matchup for Minnesota. Well, we have this matchup, and it's been a bad matchup for a long time. And I'm talking about the Los Angeles Kings and the Edmonton Oilers. Now, I wanted to go back and look at their entire playoff history and show, this is a bad pairing. Whenever these two teams play each other, it's not good. It's not a good result for the LA Kings. It's just not. The first time that they played each other in the Stanley Cup playoffs, LA won. It was the Smythe Division semifinal from 1982. This featured the Miracle on Manchester, where the Kings were down 5-0 in the third period. They came roaring all the way back and won. They ended up winning that series. Now it was a best of 5 at the time, so it was a 5-game series, and the Kings won 3-2. Okay, that's a good result for the Kings. Well, then they don't play again until 1985. Again, Smythe Division semifinal, where again it's still a 5-game series. The Edmonton Oilers sweep the LA Kings 3-0. They then play again 2 years later in the 1987 Smythe Division semifinal. This one, the Edmonton Oilers win 4-1. Then, 2 years after that, this was the shocker. This was Gretzky's first year in LA. Smythe Division semifinal, 1989. LA defeats Edmonton 4-3. The Oilers were in the midst of this incredible dynasty run of Stanley Cups. Winning Stanley Cups in 84, 85, 87, and 88. So this stopped the Oilers' quest for a three-peat. And that was, of course, Gretzky's first year in Los Angeles. So that really solidified him with the Los Angeles Kings and really helped solidify the Los Angeles Kings as a viable hockey market in LA. I mean, that really boosted the LA Kings. But that would be the last time that the Kings would win a playoff series against the Edmonton Oilers. They played again the next year, 1990, the Smythe Division final. And the Oilers, they not only got their revenge, but they swept them 4-0. A 4-0 sweep. Then they played again the next year, 1991. Smythe Division final. This time Smythe Division final. 1990 was the Smythe Division final, and 1991 was also the Smythe Division final. So that's the second round. And in 91, the Oilers won 4-2. The Oilers, of course, were the defending Stanley Cup champions in 1991. That is where they end up in the conference final, and they lose to the upstart Minnesota North Stars in the Campbell Conference Final. And, of course, Minnesota ended up losing to the Pittsburgh Penguins in the final. But what a run by the Minnesota North Stars that year. And then, 1992, so third year in a row, back to the Smythe Division semifinal. The Oilers win 4-2. So, when they were playing every 2 years in the late 80s and into the early 90s, but then you had 3 straight years where they played each other, 90, 91, and 92. Oilers winning all three of those 4-0, 4-2, and 4-2 in 1992. Then they did not play each other again until 30 years later. They would not see each other again in the playoffs for 30 years. 2022. Different division names, same result though. 2022, the Pacific Division semifinal. The Oilers win 4-3. 2023, Pacific Division semifinals. The Oilers win 4-2. 2024, the Pacific Division semifinal. The Oilers win 4-1. 2024, of course, was the Oilers' magical run to the Stanley Cup final, where they came up just a little bit short against the Florida Panthers. And then, of course, there's this year, 2025. The Kings jump up 2-0. The Kings, an amazing regular season. You're thinking an amazing home record. The Kings have home ice. You're thinking if the Kings are going to finally beat them, this is the year to do it. They couldn't do it. They went up 2-0 in the series, and then Edmonton came back and won 4 straight and took them out for a 4th year in a row. So they have played a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 times in the playoffs. 11. The Kings have only won 2 of them. So the Oilers literally 4, 5, 6. Yeah, in playoff series, it's 9-2 in favor of the Oilers. We look at the wins total. 60 games total. The Oilers have won 40 to 20 in wins. They've doubled up the LA Kings in playoff wins. In this, can you really call it a rivalry? I mean, you can call it a rivalry, but it's very one-sided. It's been one-sided since 1989. It is craziness, and again, you know, when you talk about bad matchups for teams, this is a prime example of it. I mean, you know, the Kings lose 3 years in a row right here. 90, 91, and 92. Losing 3 years in a row. Then, 30 years later, over 30 years later now, they lose to the Oilers 4 years in a row now. What do you do? If you're the LA Kings, what do you do? How do you change that? Of course, a lot of people will go and say, change the playoff format. They're not changing the playoff format. They're not going to do that. The only way that happens is when the NHL expands and if they decide to do a play-in style system like the NBA does. That's when they'll change the format. Until then, it's going to be this division-based format. Because, yeah, the 1 versus 8, you also have to remember, during this period of time from 92 to 2022, the Oilers and Kings weren't exactly real good at the same time. The Oilers, after their 1990, after their loss in 1991 in the Campbell Conference Final, they went through a stretch where they were god-awful. The Kings, of course, were the same way. The Kings, they had couple of good years there. They went to the final in 1993, and then it went downhill from there. LA really was one of those middling teams. So they never really saw each other in the playoffs because they didn't make the playoffs. During the 90s, they were not neither team was a solid playoff team in the 90s. You know, even in the early 2000s, one team might make the playoffs, but the other one wouldn't. So they'd never see each other. During the 1 versus 8 format, they never saw each other. Because again, either neither one of them made the playoffs or only one of them made the playoffs. So, you know, to continue to go and say, you know, you need to change the playoff format, which, by the way, might I remind people that during the 1 versus 8 format, there were a ton of people, they hated that format too. especially the years the Kings won the Cup in 2012 and 2014, 2012 especially. After the lockout, the lockout killed the 04-05 season, and you saw the Edmonton Oilers as a number 8 seed go to the Stanley Cup final, and then the 2012 LA Kings not go to the Stanley Cup final and win. People were complaining. The 1 versus 8 format. This is not good for the league because you're seeing all these upsets. You're seeing these good teams lose in the first round, lose early. These teams, they're winning 50-plus games. They're winning the President's Trophy, and they're losing in the first round to these lower seeds. I remember this stuff, and yet everybody's clamoring for, let's bring back the 1 versus 8 again. So you can complain about it so you'll be like, yay, for a couple of years, and then start complaining about it when low seeds win. You're never going to make everybody happy, obviously. But that's why they didn't see each other for 30 years. And now here they are, 4 years in a row, they meet in the first round, and the Oilers have the Kings' number. They have had their number since 1989, and this was the year. I don't know what LA has to do. I don't know if they have to make a change behind the bench with the coaches and the coaching staff, or if they have to make a change with the general manager. I don't know. I don't know what the LA Kings have to do to be able to get over this hump that is the Edmonton Oilers. It honestly, it was looking like the Kings jumped up on 2-0. They won those first 2 games on home ice, and they were looking good. I thought this is finally going to be the year the Kings beat them. And then, the Oilers just come out and say, we're gonna show our dominance again, and they beat them 4 straight. Took them out. The Kings are home again at the hands of the Edmonton Oilers. I don't know what they do. I don't know what the Kings do, but I'd love to know though what you guys think. What do you think the Kings have to do in order to be able to not just compete against the Oilers, but to beat them? What do they got to do? Is it behind the bench? Is it the players? Is it the general manager? Is it, what is it? What do the Kings have to do to possibly beat the Edmonton Oilers? And don't tell me they got to change the playoff format. That's not gonna matter. Because even if it's 1 versus 8, depending on where they finish, they could play each other again. So, but what do you do? What do the Kings have to do? What do the Kings have to do to change this? The Kings are 20-40 total in the playoffs against the Edmonton Oilers. What do they do? 9-2, a 9-2 record for the Oilers. The Oilers in the playoffs against the LA Kings. I don't know what they do, but let me know in the comments though. Let me know your guys' opinions. What can the Kings do to change this narrative? That this is not a bad matchup for us. What do the Kings have to do? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to know. Hit that like button. That would be absolutely amazing. Smash the like button, tap it, whichever you would like to do. Hit that subscribe button. That would be absolutely fantastic. I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. The algorithm would like that too. Also, share the video with everybody that you know. Share, whatever video on the channel. If you want to share the videos, any video from the channel, go ahead and share them with your friends, family, whoever. And if you have friends and family that love hockey and love watching hockey content on YouTube, tell them about the channel. I'd love to have every hockey fan in the world. I'd love to have you all join me here on Larry's House of Hockey, and yeah. So, and depending on the result of the Winnipeg-St. Louis Game 7, there might be a video on the Winnipeg Jets, potentially. Depending on the result of how that game goes, there might be a video of me talking about the Winnipeg Jets, too. But again, let me know what you guys think in the comments. What can the Kings do? I personally, I don't know. I don't know. But the Oilers, I've just always had the Kings number, and let me know what the Kings can do. So again, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. It would be awesome. Also, hit that little notification bell that will notify you anytime future videos are uploaded. And yeah, the Oilers are just, they're waiting for, they're playing the Vegas Golden Knights in the second round. And let me know in the comments too, who do you think maybe wins that series? I think that'll be a good, that I think will be a good one. Let me know in the comments what you think about that. So yeah, so like, comment, subscribe, share the videos. I will see you guys later.